If you are on Shopify Plus or you just move your brand over to Shopify Plus, one of the main features you want to use that you weren't able to use before are Shopify Checkout UI extensions. Now I have here HeyShapes Checkout open just to showcase a few of these extensions and what you're able to do now on Shopify Plus. So for example, here having more social proof than before on your checkout here. For example, they have Trustpilot reviews, having USPs, badges, money back guarantees on their checkout, things that you weren't able to add before on your checkout, having order reservation blocks, having here in the shipping method section having a free shipping call out just to make sure customers know about these things and they convert as much as possible, things that you weren't able to add before. Now in Shopify Plus you're able to add, and I don't see actually a lot of brands doing these things on the checkout. There are a few reasons for this. First of all, Shopify docs for actually implementing these things, since you need code and you need to be tech savvy, are a little bit hard to read and they're not the best. Second of all, if you don't have tech savvy people in your brand, if you don't have developers or freelancers, you need to rely on apps with are going to charge you hundreds of dollars to do these simple things. And third, obviously, as I've mentioned, if you don't have freelancers or stuff like that, you have to do these things by yourself, which is why I'm creating this tutorial to showcase how to implement checkout extensions for your brand. Now you need a few things to be able to do this. You need to obviously be able to write code and you need to be tech savvy. If you're a brand owner, if you're not tech savvy, you might send this video to your developers, to your freelancers to do this for you. If you are tech savvy yourself, you can do this for your own brand. If not, and if you don't have freelancers, you can rely on us, my agency. We do this for 7 and 8 figure brands, and we don't just do this, we do conversion rate optimization, split testing, and build direct response funnels for 7 and 8 figure brands we work with. If you want to work with me and my team, we've done this for multiple brands, so you can book a call with me in the first link in the description. But we're going to go over exactly how to implement these checkout extensions for your brand. Now you need to have a few requirements to start this, starting from Shopify CLI, which is their command line interface to use Shopify stack on your PC. From now on here, you need to follow these steps to be able to implement Shopify checkout extensions for your brand. So if you're not tech savvy and if you don't know how to write code, send this video to your freelancers or your developers to do this for you. There's a few requirements to install the Shopify CLI. First of all, Node Package Manager and Git. You can install both here from the links I'll provide down in the comment section. First is Git. You can go to the download section here, depending on the platform you're on. If you're macOS, Windows, Linux, you probably have this installed by default. If you don't, just follow the downloads here with their installers. It's very simple to install. And then second, you need to obviously install Node.js to be able to use Node Package Manager. You can do this from their download section on their website, and I'll leave also this link down in the comment section. If you're tech savvy, you can use package managers to do this and it's much faster. If you're not and you want to do this yourself, you can still use pre-built installers, both for Git and Node.js and npm. It's just like installing a normal app, just how you would install any other app on your PC, on your computer. So you can use pre-built installers and you basically select your platform here. If you're on Windows, most of the time it's going to be x64, the platform you're running on for the 64-bit chip you have. If you're on macOS, you have to select x64 if you are on Intel, or ARM64 if you are on the Apple chips. But you can also ask for ChatGPT to help you with these installations. They're very simple, both of them, npm and Git. They're very simple, but you can use also the installers here they have on their websites for easy installation. Now that you have Node, npm and Git installed on your PC, you're going to have to open up a terminal. Here I'm on macOS, so I have macOS terminal. Obviously, depending on what you have on Windows or Linux, you have a different terminal, but the commands are pretty much the same. So you're going to want to copy this command here for the installation, npm install /g at Shopify /CLI at latest. So you can obviously copy this by hand or just use the copy button here and copy it in the terminal session. Just come here, Command V, you copy the section and you press enter. This will install the Shopify CLI on your PC. I'm not going to do this because I already have it installed, but if you don't have it installed, you just copy in this command right here. You click enter, it's going to install the CLI for you, and you're going to have it available on your terminal. Now to verify if you have installed the CLI correctly, you can just write in Shopify and press enter. And if it answers you with all of the usages and different topics and commands you can use here, then it's installed correctly. If it also tells you the version here, if it tells you that it didn't find any command for the Shopify name here in the terminal, that you've had some problems installing the CLI and you need to repeat the process, and make sure that when you write Shopify in the terminal and you click enter, you get this answer right. Now that you have the CLI installed, we can actually go through and develop and build our extensions with the Shopify app. Now to do this, there's a few more requirements. So apps are obviously deployable to your store. If you're doing this as a brand owner, if you're doing this as a developer, you can obviously deploy these extensions to your own store. But before being able to do that, you have to build the extension on a development store. You cannot directly test the app and the extension on the main store you want to implement these on. You need to test them and to build them first on a development store. How do you create and have a development store? You need to have a Shopify partner account. Now this is very simple to do. It's very easy. You just go on to partners.shopify.com. I'll leave also all of these links down in the comment section of this video. Just on their partners page here, you already have a Shopify account, so it's just a matter of accessing with the Shopify account you already have. If you're the brand owner, you can also build a partner organization up, and you can invite your own developers and your own freelancers in your own organization after you've created the partner account. And if you are a developer and a freelancer, you can ask the brand owner to do this for you, to create a partner organization for you, and then join the partner organization. But if you are the brand owner, you just click on become a partner here. It will ask you, I have here my organization, CROEvolution, my agency, which obviously is the partner organization we use to manage all of our clients at the agency, our 7 and 8 figure brands we work with. But if you don't have anything here about the partner section, then it will ask you to log in or sign up. You can log in with your own Shopify account if you already have one, and it will create a partner account for you. Now, after you've created your partner account, this is the dashboard. This is what you'll see on the Shopify partners dashboard. Here I'll have some name blurred. These are all the stores we manage under our partner account on Shopify. So these are all of our clients at the agencies. I'm going to blur all of the names here. But if you just created your account, or if your account is new, you'll see all of this empty. You will not see anything in here. What you want to use this dashboard for is just create the development store we are going to use to test the extensions on, because it's a requirement to actually build apps and extensions on Shopify. So you need to do this step right here to be able to build your own extensions. You'll need to go on the dashboard section. In the store section on the left here, you can see, and you need to click on add store. Now between these two, obviously you're not requesting access to a store, you're creating a development store. So you click on create development store here. It will open up a new page and a wizard to create a development store. You're not creating a store for a client, you're doing this for yourself. So you select the option create a store to test and build here. Store name, you can do whatever you want. You can just call it your brand name. For example, here you can do your brand name and then /testing, or just with maybe everything in the same thing. Here you can just create put whatever store name you want here. This is just for testing, so it won't go live, it won't be available. So you can do whatever you want here with the name. And then specifically for checkout extensions, you can't select current release because it doesn't include checkout extensions. You need to select developer preview, and from the options section that becomes available here, when you click on developer preview, you open this up and you click specifically on checkout and customer accounts extensibility. This is what we'll need to do to test obviously checkout extensions. You select this. You can decide to start with empty store with test date. It's not important. It's whatever. You can select any of these options. It's not important. And then you click on create development store, and it will create a development store for you. As far as the dashboard goes, development stores are exactly the same as the default normal stores. They're only available for you there to be able to test stuff and implement stuff, because before you actually implement it on your main store, on your main brand. This is the one I have for my agency, CROEvolution, to be able to test stuff before we implement it on our clients' brands accounts. So here, as you can see, everything is exactly the same as you have it on your own brand, but it will be a development account only available for you through your partner account to test the extensions. And we're going now to actually develop and build the extensions. Now here are the actual steps to go through and create these extensions. We've fulfilled the requirements here. So you've created a partner account and a development store. You're using the latest version of Shopify CLI, which we've seen how to install, and we're using Chrome or Firefox, the latest version, so we can actually go through and create the extensions. Now, to create Shopify extensions, you need to create a Shopify app. This is no different than the process all of the apps you're using for your brands are using. So you need to use the CLI to create and scaffold an application, and to do that you need to write in your terminal Shopify app in it. So we're going to do this. We're going to write here Shopify app in it, and we're going to click enter. It is going to create an app for you. It's going to start the wizard for creating an app. So here we need to give our project a name. So I'm going to name it video YouTube test, just to showcase it here. You're going to click start with Remix, which is the recommended option. So you're going to click enter. You're going to click on JavaScript or TypeScript here. If you're not tech savvy, doesn't make any difference for you. If you're a developer and if you have a preference, you can select here, but the default is JavaScript. So you can go forward and click enter on JavaScript. And the terminal here where it's going to go through and create the application for you. So you just need to wait while this is getting done, and when it will get done, it will give you a message to say so. So you need to just wait here while npm and the Shopify CLI is creating the application for you. Here's what you'll see when the app is successfully installed. You'll see the success measures here. So as you can see, video YouTube test, which is the name I gave my app, is ready for you to build. The next steps here, what we're going to do to actually build our extensions, and as you can see, the wizard here already gives you a few indications what we're going to do next. Basically, cd into video YouTube test. Cd means change directory. It's a command in the terminal you can use to change the directory you're currently in. And for extensions, we're going to need to run npm run Shopify app generate extension, which we're going to do right now. So now we're going to do exactly that. So we're going to write cd, which is change directory, YouTube, no, it's video YouTube test, and you can just click tab while you're writing the name for it to autocomplete for you in the terminal, and you'll click on enter, and now you are in the video YouTube test directory. So you are in your apps directory, and now to create an extension, we're going to write npm run Shopify app generate extension, and you can write it like that, and you can just click enter, and it will start the wizard to actually create the extension for your store. Now it will ask you to open the login page from your browser to authenticate that you are the owner of the store you want to create the app for. So you need to click any button, anything at all in the terminal for it to open the page for you to authenticate. So you're obviously, it's going to make you input your authentication credentials, so your email, your password, which I already have here, which I'm going to log in with. It's going to require an authentication code. This is exactly what you'll see after you've verified yourself. So it will ask you to log in to the Shopify CLI on your other device, which in this case is your terminal, and it will give you the code, which you can confirm by double checking on your terminal. It's the same code here as the verification code given in the terminal. So you can actually confirm and log in and click on this button to verify the terminal session, and it will tell you here successfully logged into Shopify CLI. Now after you verified, it will ask you if you want to create this project as a new app on Shopify. You just scaffolded the app, so the app is not on Shopify yet, it's only on your local computer. So you need to select the first option, the default option, which is yes, create it as a new app. It's going to click, you're going to click enter, you're going to click tab just to use the name exactly of the extension you're creating. If you want to create a different app name, so how we do it for our clients is that, for example, we create an app with their brand name. So for example, if the brand is named Hello, we name the app Hello, and then we include all of the extension under the same apps, so we can already use the one app that we deployed to just use all of the extensions under that app and not have to deploy an app every time. If you want to do the same thing for your brand, then you just here you put your brand name, whatever that is, and you create all of your extensions under that same app. For the sake of the tutorial here, I'm going to use the same name of the extension just to go for a tutorial, and then you click enter, and it's going to actually create the app on Shopify under your partner account. But for now, the app is still private, so you're going to have to install it on the store, and after we are going to deploy it, and I'm going to show you also that step. Now it's going to ask you what type of extension you want to create. There are a lot of different types of extensions here you can create for your store on Shopify Plus. The most important one, and the one they sell Shopify Plus the hardest on, is be able to customize your checkout. So in this case, it's going to be checkout UI. As you can see, there's a lot of things you can do here with Shopify Plus, but the one they market on the most is the checkout UI. And also you can do stuff with the post-purchase UI. It's roughly the same process as always, the extension process you need to use here, but we're going to go with checkout UI. So with the arrows on your keyboard, you're just going to go on checkout UI and click enter, and you want to name your extension. So this is going to depend on what exactly you want to do with this specific extension. You can obviously name it whatever you want. So for example, money back guarantee, let's say we want to use this extension to showcase a money back guarantee on our checkout. You can name it that. You can use a different naming convention for your own brand. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use money back guarantee just as a placeholder here for the tutorial. You're going to click enter again. You're going to use JavaScript React. It's the simplest one to use if you're not tech savvy. If you're tech savvy, you can select whatever option you prefer here. If you have experience with TypeScript, you can use that. I'm just going to select the default one, JavaScript React, just to make it easy. So you're going to click enter again there, and it's going to start installing the dependencies and everything needed to create the extension. Perfect. This is what you'll see when the extension is successfully created. It will tell you where it was created in the directory of the app. If you want to preview the extension, you can run the command Shopify app dev, but you won't see a lot because we haven't yet developed and built the actual extension to be able to preview it on the development store. So now we actually need to write the code to be able to see how the extension looks like and develop the actual extension for then to then preview it on the store. So now you're going to want to open an IDE. In this case, I'm using Visual Studio Code. It's super easy to use. It's simple. It's the perfect one to use. Even if you're not tech savvy, you can install it for free. If you're tech savvy, use whatever IDE you want. I'm personally going to use Visual Studio Code, and you're going to click here on the left on Open Folder to open your app folder just by selecting it, just as you would select any other file. If you're uploading something online, for example, you just click on Open Folder. It will open up the selector, and you'll select the folder of the app you just created. Now, if it tells you do you trust the author of the files in this folder, you just click here on I trust the authors to be able to edit it. And here what you'll see is this on the left corner of your screen here on Visual Studio Code. You'll see this list of files and this list of folders. You don't need to be able to look at all of this. Obviously, if you're not tech savvy, if you're tech savvy, you'll understand what is inside here. But if you're following along with this guide and you're not code savvy, just follow the steps that I'm going to provide here. So the folder we want to focus on is here. Obviously, the extensions folder is where we just created our extensions with the terminal. As you can see here, we have the folder that we just named before for our extension, which is the money back guarantee in this case. And these are the files that we're going to focus on right now to actually build the extension. Now, before we actually build the extension, we need to understand how Shopify thought about extensions and how we can actually implement them on our store. So we have just scaffolded an extension here. Now we need to understand how extension targets work. So if you click here, obviously I provide all of these links down in the comment section. If you go on the shopify.dev for the checkout UI extensions, you'll see that there are something named extension targets. Now, extension targets are different spots in the checkout page on Shopify that they've standardized to be able to make developers able to select where they want the extension to be rendered specifically on the checkout page. And there are a lot of them, obviously 4 different locations on the checkout page. If, for example, you want to add a checkout extensions to the order summary or above the order summary or near the checkouts, for example, here, checkout block render near the wallet for the express checkout. If you want to implement a checkout section, for example, near the payment summary where the payment information of the customer is. If you want to implement it in the order summary, which is what we've seen with HeyShape on their checkout here. As you can see here, they have the order summary here, and then you can add stuff above the order summary, under the order summary, above the discount code, for example, under the discount code. This here, for example, the order summary 3 is the section where they had their Trustpilot reviews, their money back guarantee and stuff like that. You need to understand how to use these extension targets, and we're going to see exactly that. So let's say you want to add a banner to checkout, for example, for the order reservation, just like HeyShape has on their store. We're going to go here and add the extension target for that. As I've mentioned, you can specify where do you want your checkout extension to be. So in your checkout.jsx file, which in this case you're going to find here in Visual Studio Code, you go here, you go on the source file, and you'll find checkout.jsx here. So you just need to open the extension folder, then the name of your extension folder here. You're going to open the SRC folder, and you're going to find the checkout.jsx file here. Now you'll see a lot of code here. You see a lot of things here. You don't need to just be able to read all of these things. I'll make it much simpler for you. Just need to follow these steps. And here is where you define the extension target of your checkout extension. So as you can see here, the one they have defined is purchase checkout block render. In this case, this is a general block. So this extension specifically here for the money back guarantee is going to be a section you're going to be able to implement in any part of your checkout experience. If you want to define it to be able to only have it in a certain spot of the checkout extension, you're going to need to specify the target here, just like as they're doing, for example, here with the banner example. So in your React extension, you're going to write, for example, here purchase checkout delivery / address .render / before, because here they have their extension. They want to put it before the delivery address is rendered on the checkout extension. They want to show their banner there. I'll leave a link in the comments for a full page with all of the targets you can use on the checkout extension here. So for example, if you want your block and your extension to render near the information section where all of the contacts are, then you can use this targeting right here. So purchase.checkout.contact.render/after, and you're going to just put this, just copy and paste this if you want to have it there. You just take that, you open your Visual Studio Code project here, and in the React extension section here, you just copy and paste the extension where you want your target to be. You just copy and paste it here, and the extension will be showcased there on your checkout page. Now, Shopify already provides you with some default placeholder UI you can look at just to start developing the extension. Obviously, we're going to overwrite it and remove what's already there, but just to look at the placeholder and have an idea of how this works, you're going to open a terminal session. You can do this on Visual Studio Code if you're doing it on Visual Studio Code, or you can also use the terminal session we've used to initialize the app and the extension. You just go there, make sure you are in the folder of the app here in the terminal session, and you just write Shopify app dev just like that, and you click on enter, and it's going to start a development playground for you to look at the UI extension you're building. If it's going to automatically select the development store we've created before with your partner account, then even better. If not, it's going to ask you for the first time what development store you want to preview the checkout extension on. Obviously, if you've created the development store on your partner account, you're already ready to go. If not, you need to create a partner account and your development store to be able to do this. It's not going to allow you to preview the checkout extension on your main brand or on your main store, so you need to have a development store for that, and it's going to ask you for the first time what development store you want to preview the extension on. And when you see these 4 options here to press things to look at other things about the app, you're going to want to click on P to preview the app in your browser, and this is how you can actually install the app and look at it on your development store. So here in the terminal, you click on P, and it's going to open a new tab in your browser. This is what you're going to see. It's not the actual extension and the structure of the extension. You need to install the app to actually see the extension running on your store. So here on the top left, you see the install your app, and you can just click on it, and it's going to open a page for you to install the actual app on your development store. So here you have the install app page. You see the name of the app, the partner account which created it. My partner account is my agency name, so CROEvolution, and the app needs access to these things. Obviously, you can customize them from the code on the actual app folder. You don't need to do this because you're not going to publish this app publicly. You're just going to use it for a custom use case on your brand, so you don't need to care about all of these things. You just click on install, and you have the app now installed on your store. This is what you'll see if the app is successfully installed. You don't need to look at anything here, just the default look for the apps created with the Shopify CLI. You don't need to do anything in here. You don't need to do anything on the app page because we're not actually creating an app. You're just using the app to store our extensions. You need Shopify apps to use extensions. But what you're going to be able to do right now is if you go on your online store, you go on your theme here. I'm just using my development store, so this is all what's available there by default. You click on customize, just as you would do with your main brand store. You go click on the top right, on the top here, and you click on checkout and customers account. If you're on Shopify Plus, you're going to see this right here, and you're going to have multiple optimizations you can make here. As I've mentioned, with Shopify Plus, you have more liberty on checkout optimization, and you're going to be able to actually add an app block here to your checkout. And if you click on it, you're going to see that your video YouTube test, so the app that you just created, is available there to add an app block. If you selected a targeting, so enough target about targeting for the checkout extensions, if you selected a specific targeting for the extension, then when you click on it and when you add it to your checkout, it's going to render exactly where you put the targeting for it, and you're not going to be able to move it around in your checkout. If you left it like it's already there with the block render targeting, then you're going to be able to move it around on your checkout and see it in different spots. So for example, if you want to have it there in the order summary at the bottom, then you just move it down under the subtotal. And here's how it appears. And this is the placeholder UI that Shopify gives you just to make you like visualize the actual extension on your store. And you're going to be able to move it anywhere on your store if you leave it open in the targeting section. If you want to lock the targeting section because, for example, some other people are going to actually edit the store and put the extension in place on the checkout, then you just lock it in on the checkout.jsx with what I've mentioned before with the targeting in the specific spot you want it to be visualized. and it's going to lock there, and you're not going to be able to move it in the checkout editor here. If you leave it open, you can just move it around in the checkout and visualize it where you want it. Now we want to actually have something useful in there. So we want, for example, since we're doing the money back guarantee here, we want to have a page for our money back guarantee. So what I'm going to do here is just open up Figma or open up any design tool you use. I use Figma personally. If you use Canva, that's perfect. Anything that you can design the banner you want to have there and export it as a PNG to use in the checkout extension. There is a limit on what you can do with checkout extensions. So obviously the checkout is managed by Shopify, and it's one of the most important pages, obviously, because that's where they manage all of the payment information, all of the customer information. So it's a very delicate page. You can't actually do anything on the checkout extension. You can do what they're allowing you to do, and that's through the components they are providing to actually build the extensions. Here's the components you're going to be able to use with the checkout extension. You are limited to only these things right here. You cannot use custom HTML and CSS outside of the things you see here. You need to use the components Shopify is providing you, and they are doing this because obviously checkout page is very delicate, very important, so they don't want anything without security, which is not controlled outside of what they're providing you on the checkout page, and that's why they're limiting what you can do. But there's a lot of components here you can use, so you're actually not that limited. As you can see, there's a lot of things. There's buttons, there's links, there's pressable components, there's pages, there's banners, progress sliders, spinners, forms, anything you really want to use and you should be able to use on a checkout page is provided here. I'm going to leave also this link down in the comment section. All of the links needed to run this and to create extension are going to be down in the comment section. So I'll also leave the page here for all the components you can use in the comment section. What we'll need to use here is an image component. So here, for example, from all of the sections you want to have there, you can have forms, you can have interactive stuff, you can have media. We're going to need to use the image component to add our money back guarantee design we've designed in Figma or in Canva. So here's the component. You click on that and you see how you can utilize it in the actual code. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through the steps here to write exactly the code you need to showcase the stuff you need on checkout. So we're going to design the actual banner right now. So now I'm here on Figma. As you can see, I've just copied the banner that HeyShape is using on their checkout for the money back guarantee. I'm just going to create a similar banner here for my test store just to have something we can showcase there. You can use the sizes here. You can basically add whatever image you want there with the image component on Shopify. I'm just going to build it for a personal money back guarantee for my store. So I'm going to do this, create a rectangle here. I'm going to give it some roundedness. I'm going to write some text in it. I want it to be, for example, red because my brand color is red, for example. You can build whatever you want there. Then you want to mention, for example, if you have a 60-day money back guarantee, for example, you just mention that with some text. So here we have the text for the money back guarantee. Let's make it a little bit bigger just to fill the page here. We're going to make it a little smaller, center it on the right here. Obviously, as far as design goes, you can really do whatever you want here. I'm just doing something that looks somewhat good just to give you an example of what you can do here. We're going to make all of this regular. I think white will look a little bit better, and make the 60-day money back guarantee bold here just to make it pop a little bit more, something like that. And you can maybe add an icon there just for added visual power there. Maybe something like this icon here would look good. You can use whatever you want. Obviously, we're going to make this a little bit red so the icon is much more visible. So something like that, and then you make that a little bit smaller and you center everything here. So this is just a very basic design. Doesn't look good at all, but just to have something there to showcase. So we're going to export. You're going to group all of this on Figma, and you can do whatever you want. Obviously, if you're using Figma or Canva or whatever, you can do whatever you want and just have the PNG for it and just export it in Figma. Is just as easy as clicking export here on the bottom right and just exporting the file on your PC. So I'm going to export it and then use it. So we're going to call it guarantee there, and I'm going to save it on my PC. So obviously, to be able to use the image you just designed, you're going to have to upload it on Shopify just as you would upload any other assets. So you go here in your file. So you click on upload file, you select the file you just designed for your guarantee section is going to upload it, and you're going to have the link you need to refer to the image in the checkout section. So you just come here, as you can see, image just uploaded, you click on copy link, and now you have the link to the image you want to showcase on the extension. Now that everything is in place and ready for us to actually build the extension, we're going to need to write some code here to actually change the UI we want to render on the checkout page. So here under the comment number 3 here on the checkout JSX file, this is what we actually need to edit to showcase different things on our checkout. What then the section specifically we need to render is, by default, Shopify gives you these 10 or 9 lines of code here, and this UI that they're rendering is basically what you were seeing before when we added our checkout block on the page. This is what those 10 or 9 lines of code render here. So this section right here and this checkbox right here. Obviously, we want to change this, so we're going to delete this code right here. Basically, what happens here is in this return method, you basically have to write here what you want the extension to actually return on the checkout page. And since we want to have an image there for our money back guarantee, we're going to use the image component in the component page list I've shown you before. You're going to go on the image component here, basically just copy how the component works on the actual in the actual code form. So the component in this case is this right here. It's the image component. This is how React and JavaScript work for this framework specifically. So you're going to copy the image component here. As you can see, it's going to give you an error here, which you can see from the red line. If you're using Visual Studio Code or any other IDE, is going to tell you image is not defined because we need to import the actual component itself from the Shopify library for our extension. And you're going to do that in the import section at the top of the file. So if you go at the top of the checkout JSX file here, as you can see, you have a list of things you are importing. This is why it's named import. Basically, you're importing components from the Shopify, from the library Shopify is providing you to build your extension. And since we want to use the image component, you're going to want to add to this list, go on a new line and then just write image. It's going to import the image component for your use on the store. And as you can see here, if you go back to the UI we want to render here at comment number 3, then the image component is not going to give you an error anymore because you imported the component from the library. Then here, as you can see, it's as simple as changing the source for the image. Now, every component has a lot of different props. Props is a shorthand for properties. Every component has properties that you can change to make sure the component, the checkout and the extension itself and the component looks exactly how you want it to look. The source prop for the image component is required by default, so you're going to want to have it there by default, and it's required for the component to work. All of the other ones are optional, so you don't need to use them, but if you want your image or your extension to look a certain way, then you're going to need to use them. So for example, if you want to change the aspect ratio of the image you're showcasing, if you want to add a border to it, if you want to change the border width, for example, if you want to change the corner radius, all of these properties are properties you can use for your component. The only required one, at least for the image component, is the source. But here's also, like, under every single property there's an explanation on how you can use the property to change these things that they're mentioning there. But for the sake of the tutorial, we're going to use the default one, which is source. So what you're going to do is go back to your store where you uploaded the image. You're going to click on copy link, which we've done before. You're going to go back here, remove this placeholder link that you have here in the source, and then just paste your the URL for your own image there. Then you click Command S or Control S if you're on Windows to save the file. And since your development playground is running from before, because we've started the command Shopify app development, if you leave it running, you can actually look at the change live. So here, if we get to the checkout editor again, we click on Command R. We want to reload the page to look at the new change we've made to the section. Here, since I haven't saved the block when I changed the editor before, it's not going to render. So we're going to go back, click on Add App Block again, click the money back guarantee, and as you can see, now it's rendering the image that we've put into our checkout extension. Now you can do whatever you want with this. Obviously it's rendered here, but you can change the spot, and if you want to do exactly like how HeyShape is doing it, then you can just move the extension here, have it under the subtotal, and here we have the money back guarantee exactly like how HeyShape is doing it. So now that we've successfully developed our extension, have the app ready and have the extension ready, and we've seen it on the development store here, and it looks like exactly how we want. Now we want it on our actual store, on our main brand store from the development store. How do we do that? Now to do that, you need to deploy your app. How do you deploy an app to be able to actually use it on your main brand store? What you need to do is If you're running the development playground, you need to stop that obviously from the terminal, so you can click Control C or Command C if you're on macOS, and it's going to stop the development playground there. Then what you want to do is go to your partner account. Under the apps section here on the left in the menu, you need to click on apps. It's going to show you a list of all of the apps you have connected to your partner account. If you just created the account, obviously you'll have one. I have some blurred here for apps that we've created for our clients, but as you can see, the app you've created called the video YouTube test, the one I've created, is there, and we need to be able to deploy it to our actual main brand store. So what you need to do is click on the app itself, and here what you'll see on the app dashboard is this. So you have client ID, client secret. This is stuff that's more technical, it's not needed. As you can see here, if you look at the latest app history, the store I was testing it on is my CROEvolution testing store, and it's installed there, and you'll see it for your own development store there. But if you want to actually distribute it and use it in production for your main brand, then you need to get ready for production here, which Shopify tells you with this section right here. You need to click on choose distribution, and it's going to showcase this page right here. If you're creating this app only for internal use, for your custom use, then you need to click on custom distribution. The difference between these two options is public distribution is if you want to actually go public with your app and have it listed on the Shopify app store for other brands to install it. If you want to use this app only for custom internal use to do stuff for your own brand, then you're going to select custom distribution. You're going to click on select here. You're going to click on select custom distribution. Your app can be installed by a single store plus organization. This is exactly what you want to do because you want to use it only for your own brand, for your own store. So you click on green, select custom distribution here, and it's going to give you this page with custom distribution and a store domain for you to be able to actually install the app for your own brand. So what you'll have to do is click here and copy paste exactly your store domain from Shopify, the store you want to install the extension and the app for, and you're going to click on generate link here. What this is going to do is create a link that then you copy paste into your browser, and it's going to open your main brand, your main store, and ask you to install the app on your store, just like as you would install any other app from the Shopify app store. And after you do that on your main brand store, after you've actually installed the app, you can just go on the checkout here in the checkout editor and just add the app block, just like we've done here on the development store on your main brand store. This was a more technical video than usual in a tutorial style on how to build checkout extensions for my YouTube channel. So let me know in the comments if you like the style of tutorial here of more technical about how you can do specific things for your store. If you need someone to build this for you, if you need someone to implement checkout extensions for you, if you just move to Shopify Plus or all of the other things that Shopify Plus offers for your brand, we can do that. We've helped multiple 7-8 figure brands, not just with that, but with split testing, increasing their conversion rate, AOV, and revenue per visitor, and their general profitability. We've helped them with direct response funnels and landing pages to help them build cold-friendly funnels and cold-friendly offers to be able to convert as much as possible cold traffic. And we've done it for dozens of brands in different niches. So you can book a call with me in the first link in the description, and you'll get a free audit roadmap on the first call with me. So if you're not a fit and if you don't end up working together, you still get a roadmap to implement for yourself to scale. If you want my 60-page e-commerce split testing system from A to Z, how we implement it for our clients, you can get that in the second link in the description by subscribing to my email list. And you'll also get weekly emails on tests we run for our clients and processes we run for our internal brands. And see you in the next video.